Thank you, Marek. Good afternoon. My name is Burcu Akyol. I come from Istanbul, Turkey. I started learning English when I was at middle school, and my whole learning experience took place in Turkey. Then I studied English language teaching for 4 years, and I became a teacher, an English teacher, in 2000. I worked as an ELT professional for 13 years. For the last 3 years, I've been working as a school principal in a private school in Istanbul. First of all, I'd like to tell you about my first presentation experience at an international conference. It was IATEFL, IATEFL 2009. It was in Cardiff. Sometime before that, the same presentation was rejected by a Turkish ELT conference because I wasn't a native speaker. They didn't say this to me officially, but I found out the reason when I talked to someone in the organizing committee, actually. And I remember a few presentations I did with 1 or 2 people in the audience in Turkey. And the teachers want to listen to native speakers, they kept saying to me. It was really heartbreaking and discouraging, as you can guess. After these bitter experiences, I was expecting very few people in my session at IATEFL, and it was really shocking to see around 60 people in the room, actually. And for me, that IATEFL conference was a very big turning point in terms of building a much more positive self-perception as a Turkish English teacher. Things are changing, of course, but very slowly. Turkish presenters are not turned down by conferences anymore, but they may have fewer audience than native speaker teachers. Yesterday, at the exhibition area, I came across with a friend who works at a publishing company in Istanbul, Turkey. And when I told him about the panel today, he shared with me a recent anecdote. A well-known institution in Turkey asks them to invite a speaker. And there is a Turkish speaker that they think is great on the topic they need, but the institution doesn't accept her because she is Turkish. They want a native speaker. Finally, they invite a speaker who is less experienced and a mediocre presenter, but a native speaker. It's really sad, so sad, and it's not fair. As Silvana pointed out in her very inspiring, thought-provoking talk this morning, over 80% of the English teachers is non-native speakers of English. So we need to talk about this discrimination issue more openly and more bravely, I think. Now I'd like to give you an idea about the decision makers' point of view in Turkey. Turkey is a country where teaching English is considered very important, and children start learning English at very early ages. And despite this, there is a question that can never be answered. Why cannot we teach English? In 2001, a brilliant solution was found by the Ministry of Education. They announced that they would employ 40,000 native speakers, and they would co-teach with Turkish English teachers. Well, yeah. As you can guess, there were big reactions, and Turkish teachers had serious concerns about this. As far as I know, there were similar attempts in other countries like Korea, Hong Kong, Japan, to bring native speakers and cure the problem. I don't know if it worked in those countries, but fortunately it never happened in Turkey. They announced it with great excitement, but we never heard about it again after 2011. So what is really needed? I think, first of all, we need policymakers to increase the quality of teacher education programs, seriously, and support non-native teachers' language development as well as teaching skills. This plan might not work, produce short-term results, but it produces more permanent and productive results than employing 40,000 native speakers. And also we need employers to avoid any kind of discrimination against either native or non-native speakers, and have the courage to confront parents, students, or clients who think that natives are by nature the best people to teach their language. I think everybody in this room would agree that it's not about being native or non-native. It's all about being a qualified and a good teacher. That's all of us, how all of us think. Being a non-native teacher has its own advantages and also difficulties. So does being a native speaker. We complement each other. And I think in a school there must be a balance of both, as long as no one is judged or discriminated by their nationality or other features. I know it's not easy for humankind for a variety of reasons, but I think first we need to free ourselves from all our prejudices and stereotypes and leave aside things like nationality, gender, color, sexual preferences, etc. Then we can really start talking about education. Thank you.